As the cheers fade at the end of our penultimate season at Griffin Park, I'm Stuart Hughes with an extended Bees Bulletin season review. After 17 wins, 13 draws and 16 losses, I took stock of the 2018-19 campaign with Mark Burridge, Mick Cabble and Marcus Gayle from the Brentford Matchday commentary team. We began with the highlights.
I think Morpie's magic throughout the season, Ben Rama's wonderful grace of the pitch, the drop of the shoulder, some of the goals he's scored. So many highlights, 50 goals here this season. That's a nice round number to finish with Force. Lots of new goal scorers as well. The main thing is that we're going to go into the last season at Griffin Park with so much to look forward to.
Thomas Frank finding his identity, taking the team forward. Young players coming in, Marcus Force finishing off the season with a lovely goal. Ratchich at the back, Sorensen playing, the emergence of Josh Da Silva in the middle. These are all players that are going to have big futures at Brentford. Individual highlights, Morpie's goal against Villa on that night where the roof nearly came off the Ealing Road, and then Ben Rama's lovely goal against Hull City. But for me, the goal of the season was at Stoke City. Early in the season, 9 players touching the ball, one-touch football. Ollie Watkins beating an England international.
Barbie, good ball through to Watkins to Morpie, back to Watkins again, great shot! Oh, what a goal that is! Ollie Watkins beats Butland in the corner of the net, dances over towards the Brentford fans behind that goal, and what a celebration's going on there. The 66th minute brings Brentford's equaliser, and what a cracking strike that is from Ollie Watkins on the edge of the box.
That's championship football for Brentford, young players playing the Brentford way.
I would definitely say that the formation changed by Thomas Frank just to put his own stamp on it, and I think from that moment on the team just settled, they understood their position, their roles, the discipline was very good, the brand of football continued. I think the highlight for me was when Villa came down here and Dean Smith didn't have an idea of how to stop his own former team.
It's Mope! He's become a big noise in the Championship! Unstoppable force in the Championship, and he may just have sunk Aston Villa.
I thought that was the game that was a turning point for me, is that Thomas Frank has arrived, he's got his own formula, the players are still there performing. Goal of the season for me was Ben Rama against Hull out here.
Goes to Ben Rama, he goes one way or the other, slalom run, goes to the far corner, what a goal by Ben Rama, absolutely fantastic.
The quickness of feet, the placement of the ball into the top corner, and the emergence of the young players coming through, as Mick and Marcus said. It's just refreshing to see the youngsters being trusted by the manager to come through and to play with that sort of ease and that confidence. I think that's going to hold the club into a good position for next year as well.
But there were lows too, particularly the death from heart failure of technical director Robert Rowan in November at the age of just 28.
That was absolute tragedy for the whole family. You saw how it affected the Brentford players, the youngsters. They were very, very together. Dean Smith going was a shame, but nothing like the passing of Rob, obviously. I think we've recovered well, which is a testament to him. All the hard work he's done in place, it's much appreciated by the club. And of course, the way Brentford going forward is very much his legacy.
As the Bees struggled to come to terms with Rob Rowan's death, Thomas Frank endured a tough start as head coach following Dean Smith's departure for Aston Villa.
We started so well in August, playing some champagne football into September, and then with Dean Smith going, with the international break after the Leeds game, it just kind of felt like a natural break. And with the passing of Rob and then Thomas starting out with only 1 win in 10 games, it really was quite a difficult early winter period. But the changing of the system, becoming more difficult to beat. We won against Bolton just before Christmas, and then the draws at Birmingham and Bristol City put Brentford back on some kind of platform to build from, and then from January onwards we played some super football at Griffin Park. Some of the football that we've seen is as good as I've seen in the last 40 seasons.
But why was the curse of the Jaffa Cake strip never broken? Just 2 away wins all season, 3 if you include the Bolton game that never was. Marcus Gayle puts it down to mentality.
It's a young squad, and with their youthfulness, they're very confident playing here at Griffin Park. Maybe that can carry over into the away performances, is that we are that good. We are going to keep the ball a lot better than the opposition, and sometimes that's a false sense of security. I think you've got to go out there and overwork the team as well. You've got to work harder than the opposition to stamp your authority on the game. So I'll put it down to just the mentality that needs to change. And I think teams know when they come here to Griffin Park is that they're not going to have a lot of possession, but away from home, Brentford are sucked into that as well. So I think once they change that, we'll have a much more productive away performances for next season.
There'll be no shortage of emotion next season as we say goodbye to Griffin Park, our home since 1904. But Mark, Mick and Marcus feel the best is yet to come.
Can we go for top six? Yes. We've got to learn from the likes of Sheffield United and the promotion of Norwich as well, who haven't spent big, but they've got that togetherness. They've got that something a little bit special. They've got a little bit of experience mixed in. Maybe we'll be bringing in one or two experienced players as well, just to mix up with the youngsters. But we're not far away. That's what we've seen. Some of the football here this season has been scintillating, and it is a higher level, in my humble opinion, than under Dean Smith.
We've had 5 seasons where we finished in the top half of the table, but I think it's time for a challenge on the top 6. We're good enough for the top 6. It's mentality. Players been educated into becoming more difficult to beat. If we actually turn some of them defeats into draws, then we will be a top 6 side next season.
The team's going to mature. They've got to work out and get the balance right between the youthful and the experience side of things. They've got to look at the recent past of teams that have gone up, maybe not have played the same sort of style of football as us, but what can they learn from those teams like Cardiff that went up and they ground out results here in the past as well. So I think once Brentford get that sort of balance right, they'll definitely be around that top 6.
I'm Stuart Hughes. Keep listening and following next season at beesbulletin.co.uk and on the Bees Bulletin Facebook page. And have a great summer.